This next video continues from the last few, and I'm going to talk about my favorite way to get a frequency table in Excel. Now, when you learn in high school maths to draw a histogram, you normally start with a frequency table from a textbook, and in your workbook, you'll create a frequency table, and then you take that frequency table and you draw a graph. Now, I find the easiest way is you just give Excel in using technology. Easiest way for me and for sort of a middle school level is you give Excel a histogram, and then once you've got a working histogram, I'll use this one at the top here. I'm going to use this histogram to create a frequency table. And how I'm going to do that is I'm just literally going to manually type in what is in the graph in a table. So I got 20 to 21, 21 to 22, 22 to 23. Now, there are some symbols here that's inclusive. These square brackets, again, I'm not going to go into the details of this right now. If this is if this is a more of an upper high school, you probably want to be worrying about little details such as do we want, is this 20 to 21? It won't be including one of those. It's going to be greater than equal to 20 and less than to 21. For the moment, I'm not going into that detail. You can talk to your teacher about it. Here it's just 20, 21, 21, 22. So I'm copying down the intervals from the histogram. Whether these are the best way to do it really depends on what you're trying to achieve in class. Focus here is just how to use Excel to make life a bit easier. Now, there are easier ways to do this, but for a small amount of data like this, I'm just going to do it by hand. I was doing this a lot, I could use formula. 29 to 30 and greater than 30. Okay, so these are my intervals. I need to know what my frequency is. So the easiest way to get the frequency is I right click on the graph and I go add data labels. And now I can see what the frequency is for each level. So I'm just putting it in order. I got 1, 0, 1, 7, 3, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1. Now I've got my frequencies. Now if I want to do percent frequency, like what the relative frequency is, all I need to do is first I need to know what my total is. Now I'm a bit lazy. I'm going to get Excel to do the work for me. I'm going to go equals to tell it to do a calculation. I'm going to say sum. Sum is the calculation I want it to do. Now sum needs some inputs. So to give sum the sum command inputs, I'm going to open the left parenthesis. That's your curved bracket. And I'm now going to click and drag the data. Close the parenthesis, enter. I've now calculated the total of all that data, and there's 13 data points in total. To calculate relative frequency, I just need to divide my frequency by the total. Now I want to use Excel to copy and paste this formula down. Again, this is just a really quick version. I'm not going to go to the whys, how nots, and all the traps. All I'm going to say is when I copy this down, Excel's going to automatically update all the cells it's referring to in the calculation. But I don't want it to, I always want it to refer to the total. So here, I'm going to my relative frequency, then I'm going to my formula bar, and I'm going to put a $sign in front of the M, $sign in front of the 16. Why I'm doing that, I don't want to go into details now, but if you're following along, just trust me, you need to do that. Then I'm going to grab this square box here and I'm going to drag it down. Now you'll notice these numbers are all different. And if I click on each cell, if you look, I'm pointing with my hand, if you look at the top left here and I go down, you look at the formula, you can see the 7 is going up. So it's increasing, it's looking at the cell next to it, but it's staying looking at M13. So this very bottom one is 1 divided by 13, or the value at M14, which is 1, divided by the value at M16, which is down here, and that value is 13. Now these still aren't percentages, they are in decimal. I'm going to convert them to percentage. I'm going to highlight the data I want as a percent, and I'm going to click the percent button. I like some decimal places, so just next to the percent button are these decimal place buttons. I never remember which one to click, so I just experiment to see, okay, that one gives me more, that gives me less. 2 decimal places looks good to me. Now I have my relative frequency.